Okay. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Backlog and Beyond, the podcast where we talk about the old video games we want to beat and the new ones we play instead. I'm your host, Jeff Zavatero.
And I'm your other host, Nathan Hawkins, and this is episode 2.
Yeah, we have some awesome discussion going on for today, but let's talk about first, what are we playing? What are you playing, Nathan?
Well, I just beat Celeste yesterday, and
finally, now you can stop talking about it.
I know, it's so good though. Like, man, if you have not, just finish Celeste. That's all I gotta say. Just finish Celeste. For those of you who are playing Celeste, or haven't finished it yet, you are in for a treat. Just, it's amazing, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. I rated it on my Twitter. It's just great.
For reference on Nathan's rating scale, he gave the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling a 9 out of 10. Or was it a 10 out of 10?
It was a 9, I think. I don't know. It may have been a 10.
And
it was really good
so
at the
much
time.
crap for it.
I know. That never let me down on that one. But Celeste is great. Like I said, besides some of the controls where I kind of messed up, it was pretty much user error. But Celeste is beautiful. I'm also playing The Last of Us. I picked that up again. I'm starting that from the beginning. I don't know if we can talk spoilers for Last of Us. If everyone's played we're going to talk a little bit of spoilers right now for Last of Us. So if you don't want to hear spoilers,
just the first one.
Skip ahead. But I've noticed that it's a lot harder playing the beginning with daughters. Like that.
Yeah, I noticed you called me out on that.
That killed me so much. Like I actually cried. I was like, man, this is horrible. This is so bad. Yeah. But yeah.
When I originally saw the cover, I thought his daughter was the girl on the cover. So when I initially saw that full prologue scene, I was like, what? Why is she on the cover then?
Yeah. She doesn't live? Yeah, so it was just much harder playing it this time around. But my God, the graphics hold up so well in the remastered version. And oh God, it's just so fun. I'm just really enjoying playing through it again. And I just cannot wait for Last of Us Part 2. It's just building that anticipation. And then I also started I picked up Beat Cop, which I noticed you downloaded on Nintendo Switch. That game is super fun. Like,
yeah, I put it on my games I wanted to play for the backlog. I saw it on sale. I watched the trailer and I picked it up on a whim. It's
so good. Like, I'm so glad you picked it up because it's just like the whole like 80s cop like movie type thing, and it's like all like 8-bit kind of looking graphics, and but it looks really solid, and the dialogue is absolutely hilarious. Like there's like this one, like there's random conversations that happen in the briefing room against like between one of the cops. He's like, hey, yeah, do you know Jack so and so? And he's like, oh yeah, I know Jack. He's like, well, you owe him like $15. He's like, oh, I don't know Jack. But those are the kind of conversations that happen like in this thing. It's like, yeah, the dialogue's fantastic. It's just so funny and witty and clever, and the music's great. The sound design's amazing. I'm just really having a blast with it, and it really reminds me of the Police Quest games. Did you ever play the Police Quest games from Sierra? I bought it on Steam, so when we hook up our Steam accounts, you'll have it. It was only like $7 on Steam for like one Police Quest 1 through 4, and they're basically point and click adventures, or like you enter your like what you're going to do, like open door, close door, open drawer, and I played them as a kid, and they are so fun. But that's what it reminded me of, was like the old Police Quest series games. And if you've played Police Quest series, I want to hear from you. Contact us. Contact at backlogandbeyond.com.
We got an email the other day, but it was just one of those Google checking in on your emails.
Yeah,
it's very depressing. Send us a real email.
Yeah, send us a real email. I want to hear from you if you've played Police Quest, because they also have a SWAT series, which are also really good, and those are also point and click adventures, and they're really fun. I think you'd like them.
I'll check those out.
What about you?
I have been playing a fully modded Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
The original one.
Mm-hmm.
I also just barely started The Last of Us. I didn't even get through the prologue. I played through that part like 5 times. And then I just never get past it.
5 times.
I did beat the game, for the record.
Right.
And then I'm also playing Pokemon Light Platinum, which is a ROM hack of one of the Game Boy Advance games, and someone just like hacks into it. They make their own world, and then they make their own story. And I heard the story is just so good, because that's my biggest complaint about the Pokemon games, is I don't feel like there's a strong enough story.
Right.
And they're just hooking me in slowly, just for the nostalgia of it. Like, I want to be hooked. And
give me that hook.
I'm not hooked yet, but I'm sure I'll get there.
Right. Well, that's fun.
But yeah, those are the games that I'm playing right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
last
it's been great feeling like I'm actually getting through games now. Like I've actually been taking the time to do it instead of
must be nice. Like I probably played, including the game you challenged me, I played like 90 minutes of games. So like an hour of the game, and then 30 minutes of other games, just because we've been moving all week. But
right.
We officially unloaded our apartment today.
Congrats.
And yeah, we'll see if we get our deposit back.
Well, you sound much better now that we've changed the setting on your microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just talking clearer. It's not a sound thing. I just decided to talk clearer.
Enunciate.
Yep. This week, the State of Play demo for Last of Us 2 came out.
Yep.
What did you think?
I'm even more excited. Obviously, I didn't need to see the State of Play demo. I didn't need to see it to make my decision on whether I was going to buy the game or not. But this kind of just solidified what I was looking forward to and what I was excited about.
I'm honestly, I didn't even want to watch it, but I knew you wanted to talk about it during this episode, so I was like, fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, I think my favorite moment that happened in the demo was the lurker sequence when they used them against the enemies, when they threw the brick to like lure the clickers, or whatever. Like, that was like, for some reason, just really creepy with like the red lighting, and it was like dark, and like you see these like clickers chasing these guys, and like, but I think that's amazing that you can actually have those moments where it's kind of like from what's that zombie game that came out? Oh, Days Gone.
Left 4 Dead?
Days Gone.
Oh.
And there's moments where you have to do the same thing. We have to like deter the zombies, or you can like, I think they call them freakers in that game, but you can actually like use things to like lure them over to the other enemy, so you can actually get away faster, or like sneak past the enemy, a little more easily. So that was really cool. The dodge kill animations look amazing. Like, some of them are so brutal. Like, did you see that one?
Yeah, everything.
Like,
it looks so fluid. Like, they're all cutscenes. Yeah.
No, it's almost like they're loading screens, but they're just really well done. I loved the workbench. I thought that was a nice touch, like for the defensive and offensive weapons.
I like, one of the frustrating things about workbenches for me is you can make weapons everywhere if you have the parts. Like, why do you specifically have to stop at a workbench?
I
have this scope and a gun. Can't put it together yet.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool if they actually would kind of change the idea of the workbench and just kind of do it on the fly. Could you imagine, like, you're putting together a weapon, and all of a sudden you get attacked from nowhere, and you're like, oh crap, I was just making a gun.
Yeah, like, maybe you could justify it and say like, oh well, they had the tools at the workbench, and like every single workbench has every tool you need.
Yeah, can you imagine? They're dang it, I needed a Phillips.
If only I went to that workbench back there.
Yeah, 30 miles back the other way. Dang it. And then
I saw the horseback riding. Speaking of long distances,
that looked great.
It's going to be hard to top. Like, any game that has horseback riding, I'll be like, is it as good as Red Dead Redemption 2?
It's true, though. I mean, horse balls. Yeah. We've already had this conversation. If those balls aren't shrinking in the snow,
that's the first thing I'm going to do.
If those balls are normal sized when they're in the snow, I am throwing the game away. No, I'm just kidding.
Of the enemies, my favorite new one was actually the dogs.
Yeah. I
really appreciate that the dogs can sense you wherever you are, so you always have to keep moving.
Right.
And you can't just wait for them to come around a corner like that.
Right.
That to me was like a big one.
Yeah, that actually will put some more pressure on you for sure. Like, that was like, man, that's like some anxiety inducing like gameplay right there. Watching, like, knowing they're gonna eventually find you if you don't like change up your trajectory quickly.
Yep.
Pretty nerve-wracking. I like the idea of the scaling vertically to explore other areas. I thought that was really cool. And then dude, the bow is amazing. Like, the bow is so sick. Watching them play with the bow. And then did you remember that bat blade, like the bat with the blades attached to it, when she hit that person in the head? I was almost positive that she had taken that person's head off. It was such a brutal hit to the head. I was like, holy crap.
Someone on Reddit pointed out that one of the girls that she killed was playing a PlayStation Vita with Hotline Miami.
Yeah, I didn't see the Miami part, but I noticed it was a Vita. I was like, what? The Vitas survived?
It's Sony. All of their stuff survives.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
They all have like an Xperia phone that still works because the service during the apocalypse is still great.
Right. God. Yeah, that was hilarious. Like, oh, that was a nice little touch. Nice job, Sony, putting the Vita in there randomly. But I am excited though. I am really excited for Last of Us Part 2. The gameplay looks amazing. But again, did you watch the end up to the end, right?
Yes.
So, spoilers if anybody hasn't seen the demo. But I haven't played Left Behind yet, and I was wondering if her friend in that game is the woman that she meets at the end and says, "Remember me?" Or remember
Isn't that the woman that's the woman who dies in the main game, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I thought she dies in the main game, and then the prequel, the Left Behind is the prequel.
Yeah, well, no,
about their story together.
Apparently, Left Behind is a side story. That's what I read recently. Apparently, it's a side story,
but like a prequel side story. It happened before the main game.
I don't think so. I think it at some point happens in the middle of Last of Us. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. It said side story from Last of Us, but
you haven't even played it. You get no opinion.
Just shut up, Nathan. Just shut up. Anyway, you might be right, actually, now that I think about it, because that's right. The girl who was originally supposed to take her to, or she couldn't make it or whatever, so she had to like go back. She was going to do the weapons deal or whatever.
Yeah.
She was originally going to take her. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, I think that's her. The most disturbing part of the trailer, though, is when Ellie lit that dog on fire and it yelped, and I wanted to cancel my pre-order.
Like, was that necessary? Like, the dog wasn't even going to see you.
Just shoot it, jerk.
Yeah, it was going the opposite direction. Like, they could have easily just like kept moving forward and the dog would not have known, but...
I know, right? Now you'll never have puppies.
You'll never have puppies.
Yeah, I was going to get it no matter what. This didn't help or hurt my decision.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and like I said, it's solidified mine even more, but I didn't need it to make a decision. So, but I am excited.
Well, let's take a game break. Okay. I think we adjusted the rules to video game taboo. Woohoo! Yep, I'm really hoping that I do a lot better this time around. But we'll see.
Me too. Let's see. Okay. Wait, did you actually put the link in?
Well, I mean, if you click on it and then hit enter, you can get to it.
Okay, cool. All right, let me see if I can.
Like a man.
All right. So your copy, paste. All right, cool. Oh, here we go. Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Who do you want to go first?
I'll go first since you went first last week.
Cool.
Do you got a timer ready?
I have a timer. Tell me when you're ready to go.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. Start now. I'm returning to my house. I previously returned to my house.
Came back. The long way back. A way back.
No.
Return to my house.
So it's too late outside. I've gone. Okay.
Gone home.
Next one. Yes. Thank you. I said God. In Survivor, you want to be there longer than everyone else. To be there longer to everyone else is to win, survive, be there longer than everyone else is a general concept.
Oh, last?
Yeah, something last. Yeah,
Outlast of Us?
I think you said it. No, it was Outlast.
Oh, Outlast. Okay.
So that's cheating. So everyone played this on their phones the summer of June 2016.
Fortnite, Call of Duty.
On their phones. It was like a big go outside and try to catch them all.
Pokemon. Pokemon. Oh my God, what's the name of the game?
Anyway, next one.
Yeah, next.
This is one of the war games that we would do knife fights where we'd charge at each other.
Call of Duty.
Stab.
Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Oh my God, I'm blanking on all the Call of Duty names.
Okay, moving to the next one. It's a PlayStation Plus game for next month. It's.
Oh my God, I just looked at this
Empire
list.
is in it. Luke Skywalker is
Star Wars
probably
Battlefront
in
2.
it. Okay, thank you. You really like
up.
this. Okay, so.
What, I get like 2 games? Man, that was horrible.
That's because
on
you
my
couldn't.
part.
Yeah, you were like you couldn't remember Pokemon Go.
I couldn't. Pokemon Go.
So I had gone home. I had Outlast. I had Kingdom Hearts 2, which I knew I wasn't going to be able to get. Star Wars Battlefront 2, Pokemon Go, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Watch Dogs, and then Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Okay. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Dang it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what was that? 2 games? Maybe 3?
Maybe. You got Battlefront 2. You got Gone Home. You got half of Outlast, although I kind of cheated on Gone Home. You got half of Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know.
I got half of Pokemon. It's fine.
I think I got half points on like 3 of them.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. And away. Go. All right. How low can you go? This is a game that people
Limbo.
play. Yep. Remake of a zombie game. It's the second in its series. No, it's
Dead
Claire,
Island 2.
No, Claire Redfield.
Resident Evil
Chris
2.
Redfield. Yes. Let's see here. It's the third in its series. PlayStation exclusive.
Uncharted 3.
Yes. It Howls at the Moon.
Wolf.
It was the game we talked
Coyote?
about. It was the German.
Wolf Among Us.
No, the German one in Nazi Germany.
Wolfenstein.
Yes. Okay. The game we have to like find the Sean.
Have you read?
Okay, and then you just named this one earlier. It's the woman. You hear the voices in your head. It takes place not in heaven, but
Hellblade.
Yes.
Son of Sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay. Sacrifice.
You don't take the bus, but you take the one below.
The subway.
It's another name for it.
The tram.
It's in LA. They call it. It's what they call in LA. It's a type of sexual. You dress really well. You're a male who dresses really well. You're referred
metrosexual.
To as, yes,
Metro. Metro.
And then,
Metro.
And then
Last Light. Metro 2033.
You got it. And then this is a war game. Dang it. Time's up.
What did we get? Like 6?
Yeah, dude, you got 7.
What was the last one?
Command and Conquer Generals. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Oh yeah,
that was gonna be so hard to get.
Yeah.
Dude, you got
luckily, we got one of the same games.
7 out of 8.
So I'm a good guesser, and you're a good like clue.
Right.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, that is good to know.
Oh
wow.
Okay.
So we got what 9 out of 16. Was better than last time.
Yeah. Oh, we added a whole minute.
That's true.
I think 90 seconds is good. I just got to get better at it. I had the one before this had like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, but then it had a couple hard ones, so I didn't count it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed one is just like, you have to be like, oh, it's third in the series and you wear a white hood. You have knives in your sleeves. You stab people in the throat.
I would have been like, you love the first one, everyone else loves the rest of them.
Exactly. Oh my god. Okay, good game.
That wasn't bad.
That was pretty good.
All right. Well, the next topic we have today is something that's been kind of a big thing on the rise. Streaming services in video games. It's been a big thing in TV and movies for a while. And they're trying to make it a thing in games. We have stuff right now. We have like Shadow, we have Stadia, we have Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Now, Origin Access, GE Force Now.
There's a lot.
Have you tried any of them?
I have not. I honestly, they're not really appealing to me only because there's so many games that I have already, and the idea of streaming games in general is not. I don't have the kind of internet to stream games in the first place. Granted, I've been doing some research on them, and I've noticed that a couple of them, or more than a couple of them, you're able to download the game and play them, which I think is actually a really cool concept. But again, I don't have the kind of, if I honestly were single, I didn't have kids, I didn't have a family, that's actually something I might actually pay for the year. because honestly, it's a really good deal for the amount of games that you get through a lot of these subscription services. But yeah, I don't currently have any of them. What about you?
You say you don't get them because you're a father and a husband, but I think that's precisely who this is for.
Really?
Like, if you're paying, $5-10 a month for the Xbox Game Pass, you have hundreds of games so that you don't have to commit or purchase any of them. And so I think you're actually more who they're looking at in terms of these kinds of things.
Interesting, like the quick, like
it would
in and out
almost
kind
be,
of gamer.
Yeah, it would almost be like if you're struggling with that kind of stuff, irresponsible to buy a game at full price when there's stuff like this going on.
Interesting.
I know they have like Red Dead Redemption 2 on that one right now, which is only like, has it been 2 years since that game came out? Or
Yeah, 2018, October.
Dang. Okay, so it's 2 years after it came out, which is not bad for a game that big, considering I think it still hasn't gone on sale for under 30.
Yeah.
They're about to put No Man's Sky on it, which is actually relatively new to Xbox.
Love No Man's Sky. I can't seem to stick with it long enough to actually get far enough in the game.
Yeah, I know. It's better with friends. Last time we played, it was very frustrating that we couldn't like keep the same base unless like we were on your game versus being on my game.
I kind of thought that was a little frustrating too. Yeah. I wonder if they've changed that though since they added Next.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to check it out. I haven't checked it out in like 3 updates.
Yeah, neither have I.
I tried the VR. I got a little sick and then I turned it off.
I threw up and I passed out.
I've been trying a lot of these because my computer is fine, but it's not as good as it can be. The one I tried last night was GeForce Now, which is the NVIDIA one.
Okay.
And if you do the free one, you could play any game that you own on your computer, like whether it be Steam or Uplay or Origin. If it's on the NVIDIA app, you could stream it from one of their servers at 1080p for free for an hour.
Wow.
The biggest issue is you have to wait in line, and it cuts you out after an hour.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
but it's free though.
If you do $5 a month, you get priority. You get extended game times. They did not disclose how long you get. I think it just varies. And you get to play in 4K.
This sounds like a digital arcade, like if you go to the arcade and you have to like get in line to play a game and you put in quarters.
Yeah.
If the guy that keeps on putting quarters in, they're like, "Come on, man."
The nice thing about this one for me is that I could just play games that I already own. Like,
right.
Granted, they only had a small, like I have 500 Steam games, and they probably had like 25 of them.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wow.
But I still wanted to try it. They had a good amount of Uplay games, so
Okay.
I almost played Far Cry Primal on that, but I'm like, I just have it on PlayStation. Why would I stream it?
Yeah.
But the beauty of something like that is you could play it on the go as well. Like if you have a controller with your phone, you could just play it right on your phone in 4K or 1080 if you didn't want to pay.
Gotcha.
I looked up Stadia more, the Google one,
yes,
because initially I was not happy about that.
Yeah.
They also have a free. They have a free version as well, which is cool, but you have to own the games in Stadia.
Right.
Which is very frustrating. They have a pay plan right now, and then you get to play in 4K, but the games that they're offering for free are not good.
No, their launch library was so small. I think that's really what affected the release of Stadia, to be honest.
Yeah. Because right now it kind of feels like a beta, which I think it is.
It definitely is.
But they have like Destiny 2 is their marquee game, and that's not a good sign.
No. I've also heard that they have like significant input lag, like when you're using Chromecast Ultra, apparently, like really bad lag. So I don't know.
That's frustrating because it's like I like Google has so many different mediums that it would be nice to be able to jump into it from anywhere. Like they were saying in the future that like someone could be playing it on YouTube Live and you could just click in and start playing with them.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
The potential's there, but it's so bare bones right now that it's not worth looking at.
No, it definitely is going to be something that's going to like have to grow over time. They're going to have to consistently work on it because it is rough.
Yeah. The other big contender right now is PlayStation Now. And Origin Access, which is okay as well. That one is just you could download and play some of their games. Like I was interested in The Sims, and I think they had the base game and like 2 of the stuff expansions, and I'm like, they're not giving me anything I really want.
Right.
PlayStation Now is nice because you could either stream it or if it's not PlayStation 3, you could download it right to the console.
Right.
And they have a lot of games that I really miss on the PlayStation 3, but it's only because I can't do backwards compatibility like you can on the Xbox.
Right.
Sometimes it's really difficult to be a fan of PlayStation.
I know.
Their exclusives are so good.
I know.
That everything else is like, you're just lucky to be here.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like PlayStation has quantity over quality in some cases. You know, but I don't know. I read a verdict on Tech Radar about between the two, and they said going into 2020, Xbox Game Pass is the stronger service, but PS Now is steadily narrowing the gap. The key factor that swings in favor of Microsoft's platform is the quality of its library and how quickly they arrive. Of course, that depends on the company with the exclusives you prefer. But PS Now is quickly improving. Sony has expanded its library with stronger titles, cut the price, and introduced downloads to complement its streaming options. However, as internet speed improve, streaming is only going to become more viable. Either way, Sony and Microsoft will surely be investing heavily in both their subscription offerings. The Green Team will aim to capitalize on their recent success, and Sony will likely start launching their games on PS Now at launch if they hope to catch up. With Google and even Amazon looking to claim their own slice of the video game pie, the winner of the subscription battleground may well decide the next-gen console war.
If PlayStation released their exclusives on it immediately, that's a no-brainer for me. Like, if Last of Us 2 debuted on that,
right?
Easy. Because you had the Outer Worlds debuted on Game Pass. Like,
that's huge.
If I had an Xbox, like, easy.
Yeah.
Because all of their exclusives debut on that thing.
Right.
And so that's why it's 5 times more popular than the next closest one.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that makes me jealous of not having my Xbox anymore.
Yeah, and it was interesting reading up on all these different these like games for service, you know, options, and I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying in terms of how it actually could benefit guys like me, but at the same time, when I tend to pick up a game, I tend to stick with that game. And I don't like to flip-flop around because I get lost in storylines so easily, and it's hard for me to focus. So for me, it actually makes more sense to just spin the game outright and then just spend all my time playing it up until I'm done. But that's just me.
But you could also dabble in them. Like,
it's true.
You could be like, oh, this game sucks. Good thing I didn't pay $60 for it. Like, I'll just try this other game. Like, it's kind of like a rental. It's kind of it is like Netflix, where like you could start it and not feel like you have to commit to it because you paid for it exclusively.
Right. Although I've noticed that I've rarely had that issue with games though, like in a long time, where I've actually picked up a game and I'm like, this sucks. But there's been a couple, like Fallout 76, that was a huge upset. No Man's Sky at launch, huge upset. But that's it really. I look back at all the games I've purchased like at launch, and there's only been like maybe a couple of games that I'm like really disappointed in the amount of money that I spent. Oh, also, what was the open world zombie game I just recently purchased that came out for PlayStation?
Days Gone.
No, DayZ.
DayZ, yes.
That is such a letdown.
But then you look like, how much did you pay for Star Wars Fallen Order?
Oh yeah, I paid. I
think you paid like $40.
Yeah, I didn't buy that day one.
And then, but like there are some games that you buy quickly because you're interested in them and you want to get to them eventually.
Right.
But then it's like, oh, by the time I played it, it's on sale for $10. That's what happened to me for Detroit Become Human.
Gotcha.
I paid. They had if you pre-ordered it, you can get it for $48 if you follow those steps on the website. But I didn't play it until it was $10 on the PlayStation Store, and I loved it. And like I would gladly pay $48 for it. But it was disappointing that if I just waited until I wanted to play it, it would have been much cheaper.
Gotcha.
And so the thing with this is, you don't have to feel the guilt of having paid so much of it sitting in your library, and then have the regret of, oh, it's cheaper now.
That makes sense. I guess the ultimate thing to take away from this whole conversation is just be patient.
I know.
Don't buy the games immediately. Give it a chance.
Everyone's got a backlog. Play that first.
Exactly. Finish your backlog, get through that first, and then you can move on to the new stuff.
Unless Last of Us 2 comes out, then buy that.
Right, immediately. And Ghost of Tsushima, regardless of what Jeff tells you.
Don't get it. Support the devs, but it's not my thing.
I really want like a button that I just push, and it's like, it's just not my thing, and then like a laugh track.
Yeah. I want to make a soundboard app, but it's literally just me saying it's not my thing.
Well, have you actually I do have a soundboard app. It's called what is it called? Let me pull it up for you real quick. You may want it. It's awesome. It's what I used for my streams. Stream Deck. It's amazing. It is perfect because you can actually download the app on your phone. Granted, you have to pay for the app monthly. I think it's only like $3 a month. But dude, it was worth it. It was worth it.
I don't think I'd pay $3 a month to listen to myself.
Oh no, sorry. $25 for the year. It was $25 for the year. Okay. So I think it's actually ends up being a little cheaper. Same. But yeah, $25 for the year, and you have a soundboard at your fingertips on your phone.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Going back to it, I will say about the streaming services, the one thing I do like it about some of them is, as long as you have the internet for it, you could play it in the quality that you want without having to invest up to $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 into a gaming computer to play them at the highest possible settings.
Right.
My only issue right now is no amount of internet I've had so far has been so clean that the response time is perfect.
Right.
I have an Oculus Quest, and I played with the virtual desktop, so you could play your computer games wirelessly.
Oh, nice.
And that was especially frustrating because I'd reach out, but it would be so laggy in the game.
Right.
So unless you have a internet connection or computer that's already amazing, it's hard to benefit from things like that.
Yeah, so unless you can afford fiber, you're not going to get the best experience.
Fiber, I could afford fiber. It's just not an option.
That sucks.
Which is frustrating.
Not available in your area.
Yeah, it's like they want to hit the big towns first, but I'm trying to be patient.
I know. I got to see if
fiber.
I got to see if there's fiber in my area. I think AT&T.
I know you live in like a nice area because it's Southern California.
Well, we're also surrounded by the film industry too, so I have to see if it's available. Because if I'm going to be working from home, then I need to see if I can do that. But we'll see.
Some places have fiber, like AT&T. I think has it, and I think we're supposed to have it. But I have like 50, 60 download speeds, which is not much. Anyway, so I think I am here for the streaming services, but I don't think it's ready yet. It's not something I'm willing to jump in the testing phase like I was for virtual reality.
Gotcha.
Like
that makes sense.
Virtual reality is still in the beta phase, but I'm still having so much fun with it, and I think this would be too frustrating to play games that I want to experience.
That makes sense. And if you're using any of these, we'd like to hear your opinion. If you're using any of these Game Pass style services, we'd like to hear your opinion. So send us an email.
Tweet us.
Yeah, you can tweet us too.
I guess you could message us on Instagram, but that's less fun.
No, it's not.
And also, it's private.
Yeah, you can add us. It just sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't think anyone followed us yet. It's just me and you following our Twitter account.
Hey, I got some followers on the Backlog and Beyond Instagram.
Oh, on the Instagram page. That's because you converted it from your other Instagram page.
I know. That's cheating.
That's cheating.
Okay, fair enough.
Cheater. All right. Well, let's move on to our next segment, Retrospect. I say the name because we didn't say it last time, and Nathan couldn't do the sound cue unless you say it.
I failed. I played the sound cue, but we never named the segment, and it's officially called Retrospect.
It's Retrospect.
Yeah, where we go back in time.
To games you may have played in yesteryear. So first on the list, we have Earthbound, also known as Mother 2 for the Super Nintendo. I have yet to play this one myself.
Right.
But I heard it's a big one that people are really asking for on the Virtual Console for Super Nintendo and the Switch. Because they release new games every month, and everyone's been clamoring for this one, but Nintendo's been holding it in their back pocket.
I heard this was supposed to come out on the Wii or something, or it came out on a Wii console or something, or it was a I thought they made a re-release for it or something, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. One of the games I really love, To the Moon. If you like that game, a lot of people point to Earthbound as something that you should play.
Interesting. It did look really cool. It kind of reminded me of like Steven Spielberg's what is it called? What was that movie he did with the kids and like the aliens?
E.T.
Not E.T.
Goonie.
What was the other one?
Aliens. Super 8.
Super 8. That's what it reminded me of. I was watching gameplay and I was like, this reminds me of Super 8. Like they're like, did you hear about that? Did you hear that meteor crash? And they're all like going to each other's houses and like trying to figure out what happened. But it is kind of like E.T. It's like E.T. meets Super 8.
Isn't that where Ness comes from Super Smash?
I don't know. Maybe.
I could be wrong. We need a fact checker, like someone to just Google stuff while we talk.
You can add us for facts. Speaking of facts, I actually did some random digging on each of these games. Because I thought it'd be fun to like do some fun facts. Because
I was actually pausing so that you can give us these fun facts, but you just start talking about other stuff.
Shut up and talk about what I want you to talk about. It's only because I figured we're not going to be able to know everything about these games, and we didn't play these games, so I figured, well, let's see what the fun facts say. So apparently, the original Mother was so difficult that Miyamoto admitted he only beat the game by using the debug mode. Yeah, so apparently it was that hard back in the day. Another fun fact was that I guess the U.S. had a really bad history of censorship during localization. So apparently they thought anybody who played video games were just too innocent to handle such things as like alcohol in drugstores. So apparently they swapped out all of the alcohol in drugstores for coffee. So people were like drunk off of coffee in Earthbound. Drugstores were renamed to just stores. I guess in the United States release, what was it? And bars. Let's hear. Yeah. So all the bars became like cafes. So what does it say? Potential references to real world brand names like Star Wars or Coca-Cola were also censored out, perhaps because a corporate run reality is too harsh, or late 20th century localization teams were made of madmen. So I thought that was interesting. They scratched all the alcohol.
I might try to play that one because I can play Super Nintendo games. That would be.
I can do that.
That
too.
one's always been on my list. I've just never played it.
Yeah, because we have that game. We can technically play that game because we're paying for Nintendo Online.
It's not on online yet.
Oh, that's
right. You were
right.
listening to me earlier.
I'm sorry.
I said people are claiming for it to get. You were just planning on what you were going to say next. You don't even listen. You're not a good improviser.
No, but now that you say it, I do remember you saying that, so I forgot. I have really short-term memory. Let's see what else. Oh, here we go. One more fun fact. They were adapted. So Earthbound and Earthbound 2 were adapted into novels in Japan by writer Saori Kumi. The books are reportedly filled with extra details, and while they're officially only available in Japanese, there are fan projects aiming to translate them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an Earthbound 2. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I think it was called... yeah, it was weird. Anyway.
Cool. Well, the next game we're talking about came out on the exact same day in 1995. It is Street Fighter Alpha for the arcade. I told you I haven't played any of these. I lied. I probably played Street Fighter Alpha.
We must have. I mean, because they were all over the arcades and the pizza parlors and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure boomers, or how it used to be called, Camelot, used to have that game. That is our local Scandia or, mini golf arcade. If any of you are familiar with those. Mm-hmm. We had one in town originally called Camelot, and they renamed it to Boomers.
It's a silly place.
And like the only person I know, I mean, it could be named Boomers for the older generation, but I also used to go to school with a guy named Boomer. That's what he went by. And,
interesting.
He was super, super buff.
Boomer. Can you imagine they walk in? Okay, Boomer.
I know, right? I mean, like, at the time,
right.
It wasn't a thing, but now it's hilarious.
Now it's a meme. Yeah. They've screwed themselves. Oh my god. Yeah, I love Street Fighter though as a kid. Like I usually played Sagat. That was like my go-to character because he had like the really stretchy long arms and legs.
Okay, good.
So, like,
I was about to ask who's a stretchy guy because I would
Yeah.
always do like down punch and he just hit their feet.
Yeah, because you could like stay way in the corner of the game and just
They like
kick
jump
for
at
days.
you and you just hit their feet. Yeah, that's how you win.
You just spam his like long stretchy kicks.
Anyone who takes fighting games seriously would not have a good time playing against me.
Like Randall.
Yeah, Randall
Was really good at Street Fighter, man.
Randall's
Like,
really good. He was just telling me today that he wants to get back into fighting games, but they're not very big anymore.
no, they're
Like
not.
right now they have Mortal Kombat 11 and Tekken, but
Yeah, well now it's all like Call of Duty and all of the shooters. That's kind of the rage right now.
that and the Fortnites.
Yeah. We'll not talk about that on the show. The game who must not be named.
You should bleep it out.
Just bleep out the fort. So it's like we said the F word. F night.
Night. We could just call it Fart Night. That's
Fart.
what, like,
Oh, there you go.
my little cousin will be over at our grandpa's house and my dad's like, "What are you playing?" He's like, "Fortnite." My dad's like, "Fart Night?" No, it's Fortnite. He gets so upset over it.
I mean, I'm not gonna crap on people who love the game. I get it, but I do not like it. It's
You
not
can
my
trash
game.
them all you want. They're 10.
I actually know so many people in the Twitch community that are like older than me that love that game, and that's all they play. So more power to them. Whatever,
All right.
you know.
I'll try not to trash them because I don't
right.
want them to beat me up.
Some fun facts about Street Fighter Alpha. Japanese version of the arcade releases included a hidden dramatic battle mode with Ryu and Ken fighting against M. Bison, with a remix of the main theme from the Street Fighter 2 animated movie playing in the background. This is a reference to a similar fight scene from the animated movie. Fun fact number 2, there is a Street Fighter 2 poster on a wall in the Japan stage. And fun fact number 3, the game was going to be developed for the Super Famicom system and would have been called Street Fighter Classic. But it wasn't.
What's the Famicom system?
I don't know.
Is it a fun fact if you can't explain that?
No. Well, like I can look it up, I guess. But while you move on to the next game,
don't bother now.
Oh,
the next game.
This is a weird looking system. This is cool. It almost looks like a Sega Genesis, but like it's like a box. It kind of looks like a small Nintendo.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like basically like a.
Is it a console?
It's a console, yeah, but it's like it almost looks like a tape deck. It almost looks like something you'd see like in like a mixing room, like that you'd plug like an auxiliary cable into and like put a tape deck in on top of it. It looks really weird. Anyway,
That is super weird.
yep, Famicom. There you go.
Okay. Well, the last game came out in the year 2000, May 28th, for the Nintendo 64. It was Bomberman 64: The Second Attack.
So it was the second one.
I haven't played any Bomberman game in my life.
Neither have I. Every time I saw it, though, I immediately would sing, Bomberman, Bomberman. Guess what? He's a Bomberman. I don't know why, but I put a theme song to him for some reason.
I think if we met before we did, we wouldn't have been friends.
You're like,
We met at the
Shut
perfect time
up.
in our life to be friends.
we really did. We were
I'd be
just
like, did you hear that jerk over there made a song to Bomberman? And not only that, he ripped off a Spider-Man. Also, he has a Nintendo 64, so he's rich.
yeah, exactly. We were old enough to realize that Pathfinder was a bad movie.
I know, right? perfect
Yeah, I don't know
time.
anything to say about this other than the one fun fact about it I could find was due to a combination of releasing late in the Nintendo 64's life cycle, minimal advertising, and mediocre reviews, the game is considered one of the rarest titles for the console, which I thought was very interesting. I was like, really, the rarest? So does that mean it's expensive?
It's so weird. It's so weird that the games that nobody cares about are the ones that are most sought after.
right?
Because like you hold on to like the collector's edition of Final Fantasy VII, and it might do okay, but it's not going to be any Bomberman 64: The Second Attack.
No, definitely not. Guess how much this person's selling it for on Mercari right now? Used.
How much?
$180.
Dang.
Yeah. Oh my god. A sealed copy
Oh my god.
on eBay, $5,000. Someone's selling Bomberman 64 the second attack for $5,000, and I can easily go to this other guy on eBay who has the 64-bit game cartridge USA version for $30.
So boxes are very important to the collector community.
I guess so, because my God, that's a
like
$4,000 difference. That's like
there's a lot, and because once you have the box, that's all you need, because you could easily shrink wrap that thing and call it a day.
It's so true. But yeah. It $5,000 when everybody else is selling it for like not even a third of that.
Does it have any bids on the 5,000 one?
Let me look. 23 product reviews for this person. God, the shipping is insane. Shipping is $514. Oh no, sorry, the tax is $514. $20 shipping.
That's 10%.
My God. I'm trying to see if there's any bids on this one, but yeah, so it's $5,000 or best offer. And I don't see, where do you see bids? I don't see any bids on this thing.
Then that means that must be the starting bid, and they're like, I won't take anything less.
They also have a pre-owned version for $239. Because that's not a big jump at all. Wow. Anyway.
Which one do I want? Okay, well, maybe not an extraordinary game, but it sells for a lot, so I call it a win.
Yeah, so if you have a box of unopened Bomberman 64 second attack, you might be able to get some money for it.
Too bad like the devs don't capitalize off their game being like a super big success on the eBay community.
Right?
Like if they got some of the action on that, they would have made bank. All right, let's move on to what our last segment, which is Give It an Hour. This is my favorite segment because I came up with it.
Fair enough.
And I had a lot of fun with it. We each challenged each other to play a game that the other one may not have necessarily played. We try it for an hour and see if we're going to add it to our backlog or not. Nathan, I gave you Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell me about that?
Okay, well, started off to a really bad start.
No.
I'm just gonna talk plot. So,
and you played it on the Switch, right?
I played it on the Switch. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII or the remake, this may spoil some stuff. I'll just skip ahead. But it's not really a big story spoilers. But it's when it's the very first what do you call it? The first location you have to go and destroy.
The first sector.
The first sector.
Reactor,
well,
yeah.
I got down to the basement, basically the sector to detonate the bomb.
Yeah.
And I forgot. I didn't know how to save because I didn't know which button to push. And I said, I just pushed A, and it was like, oh yeah, push this to save. I was like, I'm pushing all these buttons and nothing's happening. I clearly didn't push all the buttons because I didn't save the game. And so I ended up having to fight the final boss, and I died. And then I had to start all over again. So that was really fun. Thankfully, I realized there's a 3 times speed version on Final Fantasy VII. So I was like, thank God.
I meant to tell you there are cheats. There, like you could have it so it always fills up your limit meter. The speed and then the other thing. But yes.
Yeah. So I had the 3 times one on just to like get back to where I'd left off, and I figured out finally how to save it. But then of course, I had saved it at the very bottom of the basement. After I'd beat the boss at the basement, I was like, there's a timer now. Because, the whole place is going to blow up. And I couldn't figure out how to get back up. And I got to the part where, like, all the doors were closed again. And I couldn't figure out how to get the doors open. So I died again. And then I had to start from the bottom of the basement. It was the worst, like, first probably 20 minutes I've ever played in any game. Just because of how rough it was.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. So that was fun. But I will say this. I really started to enjoy the characters and their relationships. Like, I could totally see what you were talking about. Like, it's just really fun, their banter and the conversations they have with each other, and you could really feel the relationships growing in the game. I really also feel like this game was revolutionary for its time. I feel like this wasn't like the average game you came across in like on the PlayStation or any console for that matter.
This was a big deal then. And people always point back to that game.
Yeah, because it was like kind of open world once you got to certain areas, so you could like go to shops and like you could talk to everyone and around, and you kind of felt like you were. It basically feels like the games that have become what they are today. Like it kind of took notes from Final Fantasy VII a little bit. But I did think it was kind of funny, like when I was down in the basement trying to get out in time, they would still take the time to do their stupid victory poses. I'm like, the place is gonna blow up. Let's go.
Can we not really, pose like have a hard time making it back in time?
No, not the second time. The second time was breeze. But the first time, I was like, where am I going? Why aren't these doors opening? Who do I talk to? What is going on?
I remember the first time I played, after you beat the boss and you have the timer and you go straight and there's a save point, the ladder, and the door.
Oh, okay.
I thought I came in through the door, so I spent like 3 minutes trying to go into this door that you can't go into.
I can't get in the door. Yeah. Oh my god, that was bad. But I don't know. I couldn't get too into it because the graphics were rough. Obviously, it's an older game. The people were so blocky. Like it was just like PS1 graphics. I'm like, oh, this is rough. This is rough looking. But I did appreciate the level design, like how kind of almost like realistic it looked compared to the characters. And honestly, I might be interested to check out, excuse me, the remake just to actually see where the story goes. So if anything, you may have sold me on the story, like in terms of I kind of want to see where it goes. But in terms of this game, I will not be adding it to my backlog.
That's fair. I would be interested. Like I'm playing it on PC with mods to alter the characters, and it sharply defines the environments in a way that like they look really clear and crisp on my screen.
Nice.
And then you have the option of keeping the original soundtrack, which is like a MIDI soundtrack.
Nice.
But you could also, people take the orchestral versions that people have made and they inject it into the game instead.
Oh, that's cool. I did like the MIDI versions, but that would actually be really cool.
Yeah. So playing it with mods gave it new lives for me because I started it on the Switch and I'm like, I want to try it with the mods.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I got pretty far considering I got to the part where you go to the next sector with the flower girl.
Tifa. Yeah.
Tifa? Yeah, like you see Tifa on the carriage that gets driven by, or the vehicle that gets driven by. That's kind of where I stopped.
You meant like Aerith and stuff too.
Yeah. So I got pretty far.
Okay. Yeah. Tifa was like one of my first big crushes, man. It was like Pink Power Ranger and then Tifa.
Yeah, the hexagon hips, right?
Yeah, the hips.
The hexagon shaped hips.
Yeah, it was the hips, not other things.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so that will not go on your backlog, but you would be open to trying the remake. Okay.
Yeah, I would be just because I kind of enjoyed the story a little bit.
Great. Yeah. Well, I'll lend that to you at some point because I have it physically because you told me you'd never play it.
Well, never say never.
Well, you had me try Far Cry Primal.
Yep. My favorite Far Cry game, by the way.
Your favorite Far Cry. Great. So starting off, crouching was not intuitive. Like I started following the guy and I'm just walking through the tall grass and it said, "This is how you crouch." And literally as the prompt came up, I got squashed. And then the graphics for being PlayStation 4 weren't as crisp, I guess, as I was expecting them to be. Because like I was noticing as you're going through the tall grass, it was like 2-dimensional and you just kind of clip through it.
Oh, interesting.
At least the person in front of you was.
Interesting.
But the environments and the people and the animals all looked great.
Yeah.
It was just like the stuff that you take for granted now, like the grass and the water. The water was not great.
No.
But so it had some nice things in there, but some of it was hard to get around. It felt like inconsistent in terms of how it looked and how it felt. Fighting the mammoth felt really cool. I speared it right in the face. It wasn't a spear; it was an arrow right in the face as it was coming toward me.
Nice.
And then I killed it when it roared and it went right in its mouth.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. That
was a lot of fun. I really liked the animation, like when you're collecting wood, like you break it off.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now collect the rock, and he like rubbed the rock, and then it was gone. And I'm like, you couldn't have had him like break it with a hammer and take a piece or something. He's
or like break the rock with 2 rocks or something. Yeah.
But it was like, and it's gone.
It's a magician trick.
Yeah, so that was weird. The hunter vision, or like the detective mode from Batman, was fun, but I felt like it was really inconvenient to keep having to press R3.
Oh, okay.
And if there's not like a time limit or a recharge, then I don't see why they couldn't just have it on and off so that you could like always be in that mode or always be out of that mode.
That makes sense.
So that was a little like when you have to you have to track something down in the very beginning, and every like 5 seconds I kept having to like press and hold the button, and then something was coming at me, so I had to press and hold the button. And then like aiming with the bow when I was trying to hunt and I was trying to stay in the grass, press and hold the button, aim. Okay, press and hold the button.
Yeah.
And then shoot really quick.
It's a little hard. It's definitely challenging.
Headshots were extremely satisfying.
Oh, yes, they are. So good.
My favorite weapon so far was the spear, though.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
when I got a headshot with a spear and I went up to him afterwards, I'm like, that's sick.
It's just like sticking in their head, just like wait. It's like, oh my god, and their whole body would like fly backwards.
Yeah, it was that was pretty satisfying, that gameplay. I like how some of the chests were hidden around. Some of them were like in an animal skin ball on the ground. Some of them were hung from trees where you couldn't reach them otherwise.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how were actually done, but the rest of the game felt well researched.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it was.
Yeah, the character design was beautiful. The setting the weapons on fire and watching them burn was very well done. This game made me appreciate the need for range weapons and use them more tactfully.
Yes.
I am one of those that like to go. I like to have a big sword and just swing away.
Right.
But it made me really go into fights tactfully.
Yep.
Like there were some animals I looked at and I'm like, I can't handle that yet. I only have 2 arrows.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Weapon recovery was sometimes a bit wonky. Like I would hit something with 2 arrows and then it would die, and then I'd only get 1 arrow back.
Yeah,
and that sucked. So I lost my spear. You could really see the formulas. Like Far Cry 5 is the only other one I played.
Oh, okay.
You could see the formula of like capturing the zone,
right,
and making those fast travel points. I was trying to figure out how they would have you move faster because you can't have cars. Right. But I looked up, eventually you could tame animals.
Yes.
And ride them, which is pretty dope.
It's really awesome. Especially when you're fighting with them, it's even cooler.
I really like Far Cry's ally system in general.
Right.
I got to the part where you have the wolf and the owl.
Oh, nice.
And like I ended up playing actually like 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so because I wanted to get to where once I saw that you could get animals, I was like, oh, I want to get there.
Yeah, I gotta at least get that part. Yeah, exactly.
Flying when you're trying to chase the owl was the worst. Like it wasn't responsive, and I flew directly into a wall and died.
That's amazing.
So that was a bit annoying to do. My biggest complaint about the game is I wasn't into the story at all.
Okay.
I think like the design was great. I always enjoy that you could pet the wolf or whatever your ally is.
The petting the saber-tooth was the best.
The story didn't keep me to keep going. So I think if it were to go onto my backlog, it would be to collect all of the animals so I could pet them.
Nice. Just to pet the animals.
Hold on 1 second. My headphones just died.
Oh no.
So yeah, I don't think right now it's going to fit onto my backlog. But I did appreciate the experience, and I don't regret playing it.
Well, that's good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Great. Yeah, no, I think I loved that game so much because of, like you said, like you really had a like you were able to really appreciate you having to tactfully make your decisions in that game. And I've always preferred the stealthy, slow approach to those kinds of games, like Far Cry specifically. And this game forced you to do that, I think, more so than any other Far Cry game, because you didn't have the option of rocket launchers and running people over with cars, and you literally had the only thing you had at your disposal were the animals that you'd trained and the weapons on your back. That was it. And they were
Mhm.
also, primitive, obviously. But it was that world felt so dangerous to me, and I actually
Mhm.
felt threatened every time I left camp. And
Yep.
that's why I loved it so much, because you really felt like every time you go out there, you're like, okay, am I ready for this? Am I stocked up? And you really had to kind of plan every move, and that's why I really appreciated that game. Also, the fact that there was no spoken English, that immersion level
Yes.
also put me really into the game.
I can watch a foreign language film because you're sitting there the whole time and you're experiencing it. It's different for me having to play a game, like watch what's happening, read what's happening,
Right.
and respond on your controller. Is a bit hard for me to keep up on.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't do a regular thing, but if the story was good enough, I think I could get through it.
That makes sense.
But the story wasn't there for me, at least as far as I got.
Fair enough.
So it is not going there for now, but I could see myself picking it up later. I would have especially done it if it had a multiplayer campaign like Far Cry 5 that we could play together.
That'd be really fun
I would
to
do
play
that
game.
But I don't think I'd be motivated to do it alone.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, my next game for you, Jeff, for giving it an hour, will be Dead Space.
Dead Space. Great. I definitely have that on Steam or Origin.
Beautiful.
So I'll be able to play it there. My next game for you, which is available on the Switch, is Undertale.
Oh, Undertale. I wanted to play this one.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know anything about the game, but whatever you know, do not research it any further.
All I know is that you basically, I heard you can, I think this is the game I've heard about where you can actually play the entire game without killing a single person.
Yeah, that's a pretty big. That's like a pretty big thing to discover on your own.
Right.
So it sucks that you already know that. But yeah, and it's that storyline gives it replay.
Right.
But it's tough, and we'll talk about it next week.
That's fine.
You should definitely play it. I think
will.
The characters are a lot of fun. I mean, you have to play it because I told you to.
Yeah, I have to play for at least an hour. 60 minutes.
I'm going to play Dead Space, and I'm actually pretty excited. I was hoping that you were going to tell me to play that one last week.
Right.
Once I heard it on your list.
I just want to be a jerk.
I will play
it. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to play Undertale because I've heard good things, so I'm looking forward to that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, play it on the Switch for sure.
All right. Done.
Well, all right. Well, as always, we're available on social media. You could follow us Backlog Beyond on Twitter, and then on Instagram we are Backlog and Beyond. And or you could email us at contact@backlogandbeyond.com. If you'd like to follow me in particular and not have to hear from Nathan, I'm Zavadabadoo, ZAVADABBADOO.
Nice spelling.
Yeah. I'm one of those people where I'm so used to people spelling my name wrong, I do it phonetically. Like Z is in zebra, A. V is in Victor, A. T is in Tom, T is in Tom, ERO.
I really wanted to hit the bell like they do in like Spelling Bee, where you messed up your spelling. Like I really wanted to hit a bell after you finished spelling. Ding! Oh. And then you can follow me on all the social medias at Early Bird Nerd or The Early Bird Nerd. You'll find me in one of those.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you all for listening, both of you. Hi, Mom. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcast, or iTunes Podcast, and maybe more beyond that. But so far, it's only those three.
All right, this is where I think... thanks, guys. And I think this is where the music starts or something.
Hit the music. 5, 6, 7, 8.